for the big test of 2024 and what worked in 2023 for Modi and the BJP. Will that get further accentuated in 2024? But first, the story so far.
आज हर गरीब कह रहा है वो खुद जीता है। इस चुनाव में देश को जातियों में बांटने की बहुत कोशिशें हुई। ऐसे लोग जो भ्रष्टाचार पर कड़ा प्रहार करने वाली जांच एजेंसियों को बदनाम करने में दिन रात जुटे हुए हैं। ये चुनाव नतीजे कांग्रेस और उसके घमंडिया गठबंधन के लिए भी बहुत बड़ा सबक है। कुछ लोग तो कह रहे हैं कि आज की इस हैट्रिक ने 24 की हैट्रिक की गारंटी दे दी है।
इस सत्र में पराजय का गुस्सा निकालने की योजना बनाने के बजाय इस सत्र में अगर सकारात्मकता के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे तो देश उनके तरफ देखने का दृष्टिकोण बदलेगा।
കോൺഗ്രസ് ചിന്തിച്ചത് തങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ വിജയിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞു.
All right, so is the 2024 hat-trick guaranteed? Based on yesterday's results, you would tend to think so. And we will show you that in graphics here, basis the strike rate of Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi in these four state elections that concluded. Remember, Mr. Modi and the BJP in Madhya Pradesh have won 160 plus out of 230. That's a strike rate of 71%. Whereas for the Congress and for Rahul Gandhi, it's just 64 out of 230. That's a strike rate of less than 30%. So Congress won less than 1 out of every 3 seats it was contesting. Now, let's go to the next state, the state of Rajasthan, where the BJP has 115. The strike rate is 55%. So a little more than 1 out of every 2 seats that the BJP fought in, it won. Whereas for the Congress, it is 73 out of 198 or 199, which is again just a shade above 33%. It's 37%, which means 1 out of 3 seats the Congress won in Rajasthan, whereas the BJP won 1 out of 2, more than 1 out of 2. And of course, in the state of Chhattisgarh, where no one expected the BJP, certainly the exit pollsters did not expect the BJP to get this kind of a landslide victory. They won 54 out of 90. Mr. Modi's strike rate there is 60%. So 6 out of 10 seats, 3 out of every 5 seats the BJP fought in, it won in Chhattisgarh. Whereas the Congress, it's just 38%, again, 1 out of 3. So the strike rate is very, very clear that it is the BJP and Mr. Modi who have an overwhelming strike rate in these 3 Hindi heartland states. Now, what are the factors that powered this? One, of course, and we've talked about this, about the Mahila factor. And we showed this to you as to how in Madhya Pradesh, for example, there were 18 lakh more Mahila voters this time around, and that powered the BJP's ascendancy back into power even after 20 years of anti-incumbency. 18 lakh voters, 2.41 crore women voters in 2018. That became 2.72 crore. Now, if you go back and plot this on a map, and we've done that, which are the constituencies where there were more women voters than men? And it gives you an indication of why this was such a critical factor. In Madhya Pradesh, there were more than 34 seats where there are more women voters than men. And out of those 34, the BJP won 26. The Congress won just 8 seats. So the BJP had more than 3 times the number of seats than the Congress in seats that are dominated by women. And you can see what it also does is that those seats are in a cluster. The entire eastern part of Madhya Pradesh, the Vindhyachal region, the BJP completely swept. The Congress had just 3 seats in the entire Vindhyachal belt, whereas the BJP had 24 in this entire belt. And I think that is one absolute critical factor. This has always been a swing region. If you go back and check the 2018 elections, you'll see a lot more blue here than saffron. Whereas in 2023, the women consolidated heavily in favor of the BJP in Vindhyachal and in some parts of Mahakaushal, and that was a critical factor. And you can see this in Rajasthan as well. Even though the number of seats there where women outnumbered men or outvoted men, as it were, in absolute numbers is not much. But in terms of percentage, it's 23 out of 199 seats. And in those 23, the BJP won 12 and the Congress won only 8. And again, you can see that cluster of seats. That's why it has a ripple effect in constituencies, in neighboring constituencies. The ripple effect is absolutely important. So a whole cluster of seats here, I think about 9 out of the 12 seats that the BJP won, where women voters are higher than men, 9 of those happen to be in this Pali, Jhalor, Jalawar, that belt in southern Rajasthan. These are seats that it lost to the Congress last time around. Now it's managed to regain those seats. So that is another critical M factor, or the Mahila factor. And the third most important factor, and this was decisive, most decisive, of course, in the state of Chhattisgarh, because they are an absolutely critical vote bank, and that is the tribals. So let's look at the tribal seats as far as Chhattisgarh is concerned. Remember, the Congress had made serious inroads in the tribal seats in 2018, but look at this. 20 out of the 33 seats, the BJP won. The Congress won just 12. But the important figure to pay attention to is this. The net gain for the BJP and the net loss. 17 of these seats, the BJP managed to wrest from the Congress. So basically, the BJP in 2018 had only 3 of these tribal seats. Today, it has 20. And it's not just in the southern part, which is the Naxal-affected Dantewada, Bastar belt, but also in the northern part of the state, the heavily dominant tribal reserved constituencies. The BJP completely swung it back. Gain of 17 to the BJP, loss of 16 to the Congress. So the Mahila and the tribals have come back to the BJP in a significant way, particularly in Chhattisgarh. So, having set this up and looked at the reasons for why the BJP did so extremely well in the 2023 elections, the Modi factor, the Mahila factor, and the Adivasi factor, now how does this set up for 2024? Remember, I want to take a step back and go back to 2018, because in 2018, the BJP had lost all these 3 states. It had lost Madhya Pradesh, it had lost Rajasthan, it had lost Chhattisgarh, and yet we saw the results of 2019. So just to extrapolate from that, in 2018, the BJP had 750 MLAs out of 1,545. So just a shade under 50%. So 49% was the MLAs that it had in 2018 in these 1,500 plus assembly constituencies. In 2019, the MPs, it converted to 177 out of 225 MP constituencies in these states. In the North India Hindi-speaking belt, out of 225, the BJP had 177, which means in 2023, when it has 900 MLAs out of 1,545, which is 58%, a good almost 10% higher than what it was last time around, 900 MLAs out of 1,545. Then in 2024, if you were to extend that same percentage, 58% in the Lok Sabha, then it means the BJP is sitting on 200 out of 225 seats. So which basically means that the BJP now needs to focus essentially only on where it's going to get the next 72 seats from or the next 100 seats from to get to 300. And that is absolute, head start for the 2024 elections. If the BJP is virtually guaranteed after yesterday's election results that they start with this 200-seat head start in a race for 272, which is the halfway mark. Now, the BJP is, of course, eyeing major electoral gains. They're not going to be resting easy with yesterday's wins in these heartland states, and they're not going to be resting easy for just 272. Their aim is going to be higher, especially after yesterday, and that's what Prakash Javadekar has tweeted, and this is part of our Motorola India's Best 5G Smartphones tweet of the day.
Hello, Moto.
So this is what Mr. Javadekar has said, and I quote, BJP's massive win in 3 state assembly elections clearly point that Prime Minister Modi's popularity is growing and that people have faith in him. Even after 10 years, it is rising. 2024 results are clear. We will win 400 plus seats. Jai Bharat, Jai BJP. So let's get to our big debate topic tonight. Modi's 2024 hat-trick. Is it a done deal? Is it a guarantee?
Hello, Moto.
All right, so joining us now on the talking point, Sanju Verma is national spokesperson of the BJP. George Kurian is political analyst and a member of the Congress party. Professor Sanjay Kumar is a phologist and co-director with Lokniti CSDS. Smita Prakash is editor of ANI. Sanju Verma, let me start with you. Clearly, I'd made that comparison between 2018 and 2023. Even after losing these 3 states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and despite having 700 out of 1,500 MLAs at that time, the BJP the very next year, in fact within 6 months, came back with 177 MLAs out of 225. This time, you have won these 3 states and you have 900 MLAs out of 1,545. Are you then expecting a 200-seat head start out of this 225 in the heartland states?
Zaka, first and foremost, thank you very much for putting facts in perspective. That was a brilliant introduction where you laid bare the numbers game with respect to, the states that went to polls few days back. And of course, the results have been outstanding and astounding for the opposition. But let's, get into the details, because I always say the devil is in the details. Yes, the BJP has had a strike rate of 71% in Madhya Pradesh, a strike rate of 55% in Rajasthan, a strike rate of 60% in Chhattisgarh. By the way, no political pundit or so-called analyst got Chhattisgarh right. Everybody said, BJP ko 33 se 34, in that range. And, Bhupesh Baghel has done a phenomenal amount of work for the tribals. But like they say, pop punditry had to eat humble crow. Coming to the moot point, I do agree that the Mahila voter, who's been called the silent voter, I think that's a wrong terminology. The so-called silent voter has actively made her voice, be felt in the results that have ensued. But I think when you look at the kind of numbers that the BJP notched up in Madhya Pradesh, it's not, 113 or 114 or 120. Yeah. When you get something like 163, that is the number that I saw last, it's a tsunami. It basically means that you not only swept 9 out of the 9 seats in Indore, you got about 51 out of the 67 OBC seats in Madhya Pradesh. But there's been a tsunami in terms of the tribal vote share having risen phenomenally as well. So the limited point I'm making is when you get the kind of numbers that the BJP did in Madhya Pradesh, it cannot simply be a pro-incumbency. It cannot simply be one sector or one sect of the electoral populace voting for the BJP. It is when there is an all-round consensus that humko dobara double engine sarkar chahiye. Yeah. It is only then that you can have the kind of rout that you see which the Congress faced and the kind of tsunami in terms of endorsement which the BJP saw. That's my point number 1. My point number 2 is, for all the political pundits who said after Karnataka, and we very humbly accepted the Karnataka verdict. We never went crying, sulking, whining, raving, ranting that EVMs are faulty, blah, 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 because that is not how BJP does things. You know, every Tom, Dick and Harry, I'm sorry for this phrase, but everyone and everyone's uncle said, "Arey, Rahul Gandhi ne Karnataka mein kamal dikha diya. Bharat Jodo Yatra has finally come to fruition." If Bharat Jodo Yatra came to fruition in Karnataka, if Bharat Jodo Yatra is what you give credit to the Congress for its Telangana victory, then by virtue of the same logic, don't forget that Rahul Gandhi did spend a decent amount of time in Madhya Pradesh during his Bharat Jodo Yatra, and in 16 out of the 21 regions where he was campaigning during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, it is the BJP which has had a clean sweep. So clearly, if numbers are any indication, Bharat Jodo Yatra has had minimal impact in the Hindi heartland. That's my second point. But the most important point is this. I think, never take your voters for granted. And I think the electorate is so smart. They are not gullible anymore. That lollipop style politics ki, elections se pehle, hum aapko, lollipop dikha denge, jhunjhuna dikha denge. That's not working anymore, because don't forget that Rajasthan government reduced the price of gas cylinders to about 400 in 2022. And I remember on your debates, I've done a zillion debates on this, where every Congress spokesperson said, "Arey, you wait and watch. Ashok Gehlot will transform anti-incumbency into pro-incumbency, because all our welfare schemes have done phenomenally well." So my third point is this: promising something, but actually going down to the brass tacks and delivering something. These are two completely different ball games altogether.
Sure.
The Ladli Behna Yojana has delivered, whereas, the Chiranjeevi scheme, etc., in Rajasthan has been a half-baked measure. So you need to deliver. You just can't make false promises and then sit back and say, sab kuch changa si.
Let me bring in George Kurian and then Smita Prakash after that. George Kurian, the problem is for the India Alliance, you neither have a leader who is, forget about being as tall in stature as Prime Minister Modi, you don't have a leader who can even compete with him. That's one. People want to know who the chehra is. You don't have one who can take on Modi. People want to know what is the alternative that you're offering. And so far, the only tangible alternative was these freebies, right? These guarantees. Again, people of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh have equivocally said, we don't want those freebies. And third and most important is a governance model, a delivery model. Even in Karnataka, where you promised these guarantees and you came to power, just in the last 6 months, we've seen how the state there is struggling to meet the financial implications of these guarantees. So the delivery model is also not there for you to show to the people of India. How then do you hope to compete and take on the might of the BJP?
Zaka, very good evening to you, to my co-panelists on this debate, and to your audience. And I hope that you will offer me the same courtesy that you offered to Sanju Verma, and to Sanju Verma as well. Please do not interrupt when I put forward my opening views on the show. I need 120 seconds of uninterrupted time here on the show. To begin with, Zaka, the elections, the results that has come, which the nation has seen, definitely it goes without saying that the Congress party is kind of demotivated, mainly the cadre here. But we are not convinced by the results that has come in the fore. Having said that, because the ground reality and the results, there is a big difference in the support base that the Congress party had on ground, be it in Madhya Pradesh, and we were hoping that we would repeat in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh with the pro-people policies that we have given to the people of both the states. And as far as Telangana is concerned, there was a Congress wave in Telangana which had so that is showing up. Having said that, there is no Modi magic as such. It's the EVM magic that has come to the play. Zaka, I heard your initial statistic that you put with the for the audience, be it the Mahila magic that you mentioned about the Modi factor and the Adivasi. It is important for the Bharatiya Janata Party to ensure that they change the EVM and put paper ballot, and we will see how convincingly the India Alliance will surpass the 400 mark. At this
Sir,
point in time,
I agree with the first part of what you said, but this whole EVM bogey, I mean, let's get over it, right? When Rahul Gandhi goes to Kerala and wins, you don't blame the EVM. When you win Karnataka just 6 months ago and it was a pretty emphatic victory, you don't blame the EVMs. Let's get on with this. I mean, because it's beginning to sound like a bit of a broken record. Let's get on to the next point. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just complete. So if it is going to be the EVM in 2024, let me put it for the audience benefit at large that the India Alliance will not surpass even 200 mark on its own, and it is going to be a guarantee, as you are mentioning, and the narrative is getting built. So there is no two ways about it.
Okay. Again, I don't find the EVM argument not even worth delving into that. But let me go to Smita. And one of the problems, and I go back to that statistic that I played out at the top of the show. Out of those 225 seats in Western India, in Northern India, in Central India, and even the Northeast, mind you, the BJP is in power in almost all of those states there. In all of these parts of India, out of those 225 seats, the bigger problem is the Congress is taking on the BJP in direct fights in many of these states, in Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, in Uttarakhand, Himachal. I mean, I can go on and on. I think in about 170 out of those 225, it's the Congress that's the principal challenger to the BJP. And somehow, not just after yesterday's results, but even from 14 and 19, if you look at those 225 seats, the Congress has come a distant second. And especially after yesterday's results, there is simply no hope why the Congress would be able to revive in those very seats.
Well, the Congress will have to go back to the drawing board. I don't see it as a no-hope situation. It's one election. They still have a couple of months, 5 more months to go. And I don't think even the BJP writes off the Congress. They take the Congress very seriously. That being said, I think, Zaka, you are right that it was a resounding victory to the BJP and a resounding no to Congress's policies in 4 states. I don't think they expected to lose like this. Nobody in the Congress thought that, at least not in Chhattisgarh, and even in Madhya Pradesh, they thought they were going to come back. The results yesterday and the markets today made the point, which no analyst needs to make that point. These two made the point that Modi's welfare push got a thumbs up from the people as well as from industry. Now, why did the markets react the way they did? And you haven't brought the markets issue, so I thought I will bring it up because it's macroeconomic indicators, yes, but it's also Modi's win, that Modi ki guarantee, which they went for the past couple of months, that resounded. And that resounded not just with the voters, it resounded with industry, it resounded with the people who were not even voting in this election. And the Congress's twin plank of the OBC outreach and welfareism, it didn't enthuse voters in the Hindi heartland, and that matters. You can't just say that, there's a north-south divide and the BJP is out of the south. The south is just 5 states. Can you actually hope of forming a government in 2024 with, even if you have all 5 states? All 5 South states goes to the India Alliance. Let's just presume that all 5 states go. Do you think that, does anybody in the India Alliance think that without the Hindi heartland, they can form a government? It's not going to be possible. So how should the opposition come to terms with it? Like I said, go back to the drawing board. Think about it. Just like the South matters, so do the states of the North matter. You just can't grieve, and you can't blame the EVMs or go to Southeast Asia for chutti. You have to think about how your own people who have won the election behaved in the past couple of months. Look at what they did in Telangana, 24/7. Those who have won the election from the Congress party, they were there. They were there minus TV cameras. They were there minus YouTube videos. They were there minus hobnobbing with influencers of YouTube. They were there minus everything. They were just there with their voters. They were working on the ground, and that's how they delivered victories. It is necessary for the bigwigs of the Congress party and the regional parties, including BRS, to think about this. Don't think that social media is going to get the votes. Votes are the people who are there on the ground.
No, I completely endorse what Smita just said, because from yesterday after the loss, if you look at a lot of Congress leaning and liberal Twitter handles, they seem to be peddling this whole thing about a north-south divide, and the north votes in one way, the BJP is entrenched in the north, there's nothing the Congress or anyone else can do there, but in the south the Congress is the entrenched party and the BJP is finding it difficult to expand into the south. But I think to Smita's point, and this is where I want Professor Sanjay Kumar to come in, you can win all 5 states of South India, that's only 130 seats. The remaining 400 Lok Sabha seats are outside of South India. So the Congress and other India Alliance parties need to start winning in central, in west, in east and in the northeast to be able to put up a fight against the BJP. Do you see that happening? Especially, now you're already seeing Mamata Banerjee come out and say that this is Congress's loss, not the India Alliance's loss. You've seen Akhilesh Yadav saying, Kash ye naam pehle yaad aata. So, all of these, even the JDU and the RJD have said not so charitable things about the Congress and its attitude prior to yesterday's results. So, all of these parties are now coming out and openly questioning the centrality of the Congress and the importance of the Congress to the India Alliance, and perhaps most importantly, the ability of the Congress in the heartland to take on the BJP.
Zaka, when regional parties are asking this question or questioning Congress inability to take on BJP in the Hindi heartland state, I think what they are doing is really a fact. If you look at the Lok Sabha elections of 2019, not only Congress got defeated at the hands of BJP, they got defeated with a huge margin. In most of the state, like say Rajasthan, not only BJP won 25 out of 25 seats, but in 23 out of 25 seats, BJP got more than 50% vote. Even in, say, Madhya Pradesh, out of the 27 or 28 states with BJP won, almost 19 or 21 seats, BJP got more than 50% vote. So the point I'm trying to say is that if the charge against Congress is that Congress is unable to take on BJP in the Hindi heartland state in the direct contest, I think it's a fact. That is, it was demonstrated. That was the fact in 2019 election, and now there were a lot of hope that maybe Congress is trailing behind BJP in the Lok Sabha contest, but in assembly election they would be able to make up, as it happened in 2018. But 2023 results has indicated that Congress failed miserably even in taking on BJP even in the assembly elections.
No. So what then can the India Alliance do? Let's take those 2 states that you mentioned, right? 25-0 for the BJP in Rajasthan and 28 out of 29 for the BJP in Madhya Pradesh. It's not like the Congress can give some of those seats to the Samajwadi Party or give some of those seats to the Aam Aadmi Party. It's not like those parties are any big players in those states. I mean, somebody was doing this on Twitter. Aam Aadmi Party, I think, contested in about 200-300 seats in these 5 assemblies that went to polls, and I think they've lost deposit in everything, right? So the point is, the Congress is the principal opponent, and yet they are no match for the BJP. So what is it that the rest of the alliance can do?
No, they can't. See, the problem is that many other regional parties are being critical of Congress' inability to take on BJP, but also they should realize that the states which we are talking about, say Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and several other Hindi heartland states where Congress is up against BJP in the direct contest and regional parties are not present there. So you can keep criticizing the Congress, but what is the alternative? Is the alternative that Congress can start leaving the seat for other regional party? That's not going to happen. So what is the point of criticizing and spoiling, the collegiality among the India Alliance partners? I think I don't see this alliance moving in the right direction. You are mounting a pressure on the Congress. Is it for Congress sacrificing a lot of seats in, say, other states like UP, West Bengal and in other states? I think that may be the only strategy.
Yeah. So I think that's a fair point. So let me ask Sanju Verma this. The fear amongst the India Alliance parties before yesterday's result, Sanju Verma, was that if the Congress were to win 2 out of 3 in these heartland states, then the Congress will suddenly become the big brother. They will dictate terms in seat sharing, who's going to be the chehra to take on Mr. Modi, so on and so forth. Now that the Congress has been humbled, do you see the likes of a Mamata Banerjee, Nitish Kumar, Akhilesh Yadav all now being sort of their hand within the India alliance is strengthened, and as a result, that might actually prove to be more beneficial to the alliance than having a stronger Congress.
You know, Zaka, let's be very honest. If anybody has observed the, demeanor of the alliance partners, I remember that after that big gathering at Mumbai at the Hyatt, they said that October 5th, we will have a joint roadshow in Bhopal. What happened? That joint roadshow in Bhopal was cancelled at the nth hour. After that, forget about not coming to a consensus on seat sharing. You know, you had the likes of Ram Gopal Yadav calling the calling the Madhya Pradesh, Congress chief names. You had, IP Singh calling Rahul Gandhi Mandbuddhi, what have you. What I'm trying to say is that all that the Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav, wanted was that the Congress should hand over at least 6 seats in Madhya Pradesh with no questions asked. But wahan par bhi, both the parties were at loggerheads. 6 out of, 230 odd seats, which is not asking for much. So, point number 1, I don't think these parties can come to a consensus when it comes to seat sharing. Also, don't forget that, prior to Lok Sabha 2019, the Samajwadi Party and the BSP said that, we are happy with each other, we would like to work together. But the moment the Lok Sabha 2019 elections were announced and the results were declared, you had BSP winning 10 seats and you had Samajwadi Party winning 5 seats. That 5 obviously came down to 3 after they lost by polls last year, but that's besides the point. The moment Samajwadi Party saw कि हमने तो सिर्फ 5 सीटें जीती हैं उत्तर प्रदेश से and BSP has won 10 seats, that alliance also, came to an end. Then you look at the utterances by Abhishek Banerjee today. He said, so what, if the Congress has lost Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, when it comes to West Bengal, this is a different ballgame altogether. We will decide on seat sharing in West Bengal on a standalone basis without taking into account the picture in the other Hindi heartland states. Basically, the long and short of the story was Abhishek Banerjee saying, बंगाल में हम कांग्रेस के साथ अलायंस में नहीं लड़ेंगे, बाकी आपको जो करना है कर लो. So basically, Mamata does not want Congress in Bengal, Akhilesh does not want Congress in Uttar Pradesh, so on and so forth. So I think this is a fractious alliance of debilitated parties and each one is running a marathon or koi consensus convergence on basic issues is not there. I've told this on your show a zillion times. That barring visceral hatred for Narendra Modi, is there a common minimum program? Is there a common political agenda? Is there common leadership? Something that they need to offer to the electorate? The answer is no. And my last but not the least, Modi ki guarantee ki baatein jab hum karte hain, I remember people mocking the BJP spokesperson saying, "Arey, ye to jumlebazi hai." Just one small example of how Modi ki guarantee has been working on the ground. The direct benefit transfer scheme was launched in 2013. Ek saal tha before Congress was ousted, not a single penny was transferred to the poor and the marginalized. Today under the DBT, 29 lakh crore has been transferred directly into the bank accounts of the poor and the marginalized. Then look at a small scheme, which is not so small actually, the Jan Aushadhi Kendras. These were launched in 2008. When Prime Minister Modi took charge in 2014, there were only 32 Jan Aushadhi Kendras. Today there are close to 10,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras. And last but not the least, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which has been such a brilliant game changer in rural and semi-urban areas. We've given more than 4 crore houses to the poor and the marginalized. This was launched barely 7-8 years back. Whereas Rajiv Gandhi Awas Yojana, in his memory, was launched in 2009 and Indira Awas Yojana was launched in 1985 and both came a cropper. So again, it comes down to the basics. Last mile delivery, ensuring that is what Modi ki guarantee is all about. And just indulge me for 10 seconds. I said this yesterday and I would like to repeat it because it got me a lot of brownie points on social media for whatever it is worth. Though as Smita Prakash said, YouTubers don't win you votes. And the best example of that is Chahat Pandey of the Aam Aadmi Party, who has 1.2 million followers. And in Madhya Pradesh, from the constituency that she fought, she could barely notch 2,200 votes. I said this yesterday on another channel. नरेंद्र मोदी एक ऐसे नेता है who has the style and perseverance of Sachin Tendulkar, the reliability of a MS Dhoni, the consistency of a Rahul Dravid, the flair, flamboyance and aggression of a Virat Kohli. And I think that combination has no parallels when it comes to opposition, which is still floundering and fumbling.
So, George Kurian, you have to take on Virat Kohli, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravid. And who do you have?
Well, Zaka, for the benefit of your audience, let me reassure the audience that the Congress Party has the ability to carry everybody along who are part of the India bloc. It will come to a consensus as far as seat sharing is concerned, and also Congress Party will come with a robust manifesto which will cater to every section of the society and to every caste, creed and religion. And also as far as face is concerned, you asked me about that question. There are many capable faces that the India bloc has, over 3-4 decades of experience with legislative and administrative. So there is no shortfall of ability in the India bloc. It's only that we are hopeful that things will work in our favor. But as I said, being optimistic is not the point here. The EVM are getting compromised is what we have a feeling out here.
Mr. Kurian, let's please not go down that rabbit hole. But having said that, I have a piece of breaking news that's coming in, and I want you and Smita to weigh in on this. This is very interesting because now we are given to understand, and this is as per sources from the India Alliance, that in all likelihood, the meeting that was called for the 6th of December, that's the day after tomorrow, of the India Alliance will be postponed because of the unavailability of leaders including MK Stalin, Mamata Banerjee, Akhilesh Yadav and Nitish Kumar. A final decision will be taken on the postponement of the meeting tomorrow. Congress sources also suggest that they need to do some more homework and intermediary dialogues between parties before the next meeting. Now, Sharon has more details on this. Sharon, so is anybody in the Congress willing to say why this meeting was announced? Yesterday, even as counting was happening, this meeting was announced. And then today, all of these leaders publicly said, they have other meetings and they're unavailable and therefore can't come on the 6th. So this whole thing turned out to be a bit of an embarrassing situation for the Congress.
Originally the message was in fact sent to the leaders on Saturday, a day before the counting took place. That is on December 2nd. They were, Congress Party believed that they will be at least minimum will be winning at least 3 states, and accordingly they will set up a meeting with the India Alliance on December 6th. But of course, now we are seeing that now that they have lost almost 3 states, and there are in fact leaders within the India Alliance Party who are coming out and speaking against the Congress Party, it has become a bit of an embarrassment. And now multiple leaders, MK Stalin, Mamata Banerjee, Akhilesh Yadav, all of them have said that they will, in all probability, will be skipping the meeting that is scheduled to take place on 6th of December. So now the Congress Party sources have been suggesting that in all likelihood, there could be a postponement of this meeting. We'll get to know this tomorrow around the first half. But of course, the Congress Party leaders have been suggesting that right now they need to do some homework. Clearly, there are a number of members within this alliance who are really disappointed with Congress, the way the seat sharing didn't work out. So now, internal discussion and reaching out to these disappointed leaders is something that the task is in front of Congress. Hence, before the next meeting, they are going to make sure that the issues or the differences that have come, they are planning to sort it out. We have to see how much that actually goes in favor of Congress Party, because a number of leaders have told CNN News 18 that the things are going to be, of course, very different. It is not going to be the same as far as Congress Party is concerned. Okay. It is going to impact the negotiation as well. So here on, of course, they are going to internally talk. But as of now, there is a big question mark whether the 6th December meeting of the INDA alliance will take place or not.
Okay, Sharon, we'll leave it at that. This again is a classic case in point, isn't it, Smita Prakash? Yesterday, we were all told about this meeting in the middle of counting. And once this announcement was made, clearly nobody bothered to check with Mamata Banerjee, Stalin, Akhilesh Yadav for their availability. Now, clearly they are unavailable. They are now, is this a flexing of muscles? Because they had been calling for this meeting for September, October, November. At that time, the Congress was busy in electioneering. They thought they'll win some states and then they'll become the big brother in the alliance. Now, these others are saying, well, when we were calling for the meeting, you didn't bother. Now, why should we come when you're calling a meeting? Smita.
No, it's not just spurning the invitation. It's also annoyance that how can you just suddenly call a meeting like that, and who are you to call a meeting? Frankly, you're no longer in that position where you can first sit and see what and analyze how you came yourself in this position, right? None of the verticals of the India Alliance have been meeting. They've not had their ideas committee. And you saw the way that the media boycott was handled. It was the Congress which calls this press briefing and announces the names. Boycott of certain journalists. The others were not on board. That boycott failed terribly. The media grouping has never met after that disastrous thing. Similarly, others, the research committee, none of them have been meeting. You know why? Why? Because nobody knows what is going on. When they were calling the meetings, who calls the meetings, who decides the agenda, nothing has been done. The other thing which I wanted to point out about this India Alliance, Sanju just pointed out that the Bhopal rally was called off it wasn't called off. It was Kamal Nath clearly saying, I don't need you. He shut the door on the India Alliance. He fronted the campaign and he insulted Akhilesh. Unnecessarily, rudely, he insulted Akhilesh. Why do you need to do that? Why couldn't you have handled that behind closed doors? Yeah. No, it was done in full glare of the media. And now what has happened? Akhilesh is being spurned. It's going to take a lot of effort to bring him back. And as far as what somebody was, I don't know, it was you or whatever, or Sanju who was saying that Akhilesh doesn't want to give any seats in Uttar Pradesh. Mamta doesn't want to give any seats in Bengal. And frankly, I don't think the Congress cares. What are they going to fight in Uttar Pradesh anyway? It's all going to be about winnability. If the Aam Aadmi Party had no winnability in Madhya Pradesh or in any of the other states, similarly the Congress has no winnability in Uttar Pradesh. It is barely winning in some seats in West Bengal. It's come third. Where has it been washed out completely? So this what should I say, a big brother attitude or the sense of arrogance or entitlement, that will really have to take a back seat if the alliance exists. Frankly, it doesn't. Some in the Congress feel that this alliance is demeaning or it's undermining the existence of the Congress party because the regional parties are calling shots. So fight it separately till 2024 because there's hardly any time to get the alliance back together. So fight it separately. Post-election, if at all there's any need, get it together, just like the UPA.
I want to ask Professor Sanjay Kumar this, and this will be our closing comment. The fundamental premise for this alliance was Congress or any other party on its own cannot take on the BJP. Therefore, find a large number of constituencies, maybe 300, 350 constituencies out of 543, where you can put up one common candidate against a BJP candidate. So you pool the might of the opposition vote or the anti-incumbent vote and have one common candidate in a large majority of these constituencies. But after yesterday's result and with all these public statements that we're seeing, do you see, Professor Kumar, that the India Alliance being able to come up with, let's say, 80 joint candidates in 80 constituencies in UP or, 42 joint candidates in 42 constituencies in Bengal? I mean, I don't see that happening, particularly more so after yesterday.
No, Zaka, you have given example of UP and West Bengal, and I can keep moving. Delhi, very difficult. Punjab, very difficult. See, there are two, in a seat sharing formula, there are two formulas on which parties negotiate for the seat sharing. It is either the last Lok Sabha election or the last assembly election. And the difficulty is that whichever formula you apply, it's not going to be agreeable to the other party. So why I give the example of Delhi. So in Delhi, BJP, the Congress performed better compared to Aam Aadmi Party in 2019 Lok Sabha election. Because Aam Aadmi Party was number 3 in almost all the seats except one. And if you look at the assembly election, Congress was poor number 3 and Aam Aadmi Party performed very well. Now, which formula is to be applied? Punjab is going to be far more difficult. Punjab, Congress had 8 sitting MPs. And if you look at the last assembly election, Aam Aadmi Party did very well. By that logic, which logic to be applied? Is Congress ready to sacrifice 3 or 4 seats out of the 8 sitting MPs? Congress will not be ready to do that.
Yeah.
So You took examples of 2 states, I took example of 2 states, someone else can give examples of 2 more states, which raises the question, can India Alliance work out a seat sharing arrangement? I think I would put a big question mark on that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Clearly, there's a lot for the Congress and its alliance partners to mull over, particularly after yesterday's defeat and the degree of the defeat and the manner of that defeat in states where the Congress was sitting back, putting its leg up and sitting pretty, thinking that it'll win. No doubt about it. In states where they were incumbent and they thought, there's no way the BJP can topple us. In all of those states, it's not just the fact that the Congress lost, either as challenger or as incumbent, but also the degree of that loss. In fact, it would be fair to say that the BJP's victory, both in Madhya Pradesh and in Chhattisgarh, as Smita said, no pollster really gave this extent of the victory. So it was really going against the grain, as it were. But we'll see how this plays out for 2024. Right now, the BJP is in pole position and then some more. So right now, let's shift focus to the other story that we are tracking, and that, of course, is the cyclone Migjom, which is closing in on the eastern seaboard. Several places in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, but particularly in Tamil Nadu, Chennai has been badly hit by the heavy rainfall. There is waterlogging in several districts. The capital city has been paralyzed. It's been bringing back memories of the infamous 2015 floods. 5 deaths have been reported in rain-related mishaps. Several roads have turned into rivers. There are power cuts in large parts of the city. Electric lines have fallen into the flood waters. Citizens have been advised to stay indoors, and private firms have been advised to switch to work from home. In fact, flight operations have been pretty badly hit as the Chennai airport has been closed until 11 p.m. tonight. These are pictures of cars just floating on roads which have now turned into rivers. These are from low-lying parts of the city, and you can just see this is from a place called Pallikarne, which is on the outskirts of the city, and a sea of cars that are parked outside a residential complex just being completely washed away. The National Disaster Response Force has made 18 teams available to Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and Puducherry, and another 10 additional teams have been kept on high alert. Rescue and relief teams of the Coast Guard, the Army and the Navy are also on standby. These are pictures you can see of an ambulance trying to make way in water that is easily waist deep. But the scenes from Chennai have evoked memories from 2015. These are pictures from the airport, and you can see the entire runway completely flooded out earlier this morning. So, is our urban infrastructure still as woefully unprepared as it was back in 2015? Sudhir Krishna is a former urban secretary. He's joining us. Mahesh Palawat is vice president of SkyMet. Mr. Krishna, looking at these pictures, and I was there in Chennai covering the floods in 2015, it's like we don't learn, whether it's the Kerala floods, the cyclone Amphan from Bengal, or now these floods that are completely besetting the city of Chennai. Why can't we get our urban infrastructure right? In the sense, yes, everybody agrees that the rainfall has been at record levels, no doubt about it, including this latest round. But then that's the whole point of planning, right? That's the whole point of planning for urban infrastructure that can take heavier and heavier rain loads.
Well, I think you have rightly identified the root cause as the inadequate planning. In planning, urban planning, the foremost requirement as far as today's situation is concerned, or cyclone proofing is concerned, is drainage planning. You see, cyclone we cannot prevent, and we can predict to an extent, but we can't always predict very accurately, much in advance. Closer to the event, yes, but much in advance. Therefore, we have to prepare the city in a sustainable manner. So the drainage planning means the water will come, all right, rains will come, but it should flow out. For flowing, letting the rainwater flow out, particularly heavy rains to flow out, we require good drainage planning on one hand, and all the natural drains have to be cleaned, kept ready to let the water flow out. And secondly, water bodies have to be kept ready, prepared to receive the water and hold the water. All the lakes, ponds, they have to be cleaned and kept, they should be not silted up. They should not be full of muck and garbage. They should be kept clean so that they can hold some water. What is happening is that the rainwater does not find its way, and therefore it starts flooding the places, So it is most critical to prepare a drainage plan, which is very much possible using satellite imagery and ground truthing. It should be possible. Now technology is available. And so I think this is the first and foremost requirement. And of course, good building quality, etc. is another matter. Building plans, properly designed buildings, they should not get flooded too much, and they should not be impacted too much by the heavy rains. These are the things, fundamentally. And
Let me ask
also,
Mr. Palawat, a lot of people are saying that the rains have also substantially increased compared to last year or the year before. Like I said, people are bringing back memories of 2015. Can you tell us, just in comparative terms, how much more rain has fallen on Chennai this time around compared to, let's say, the last year or the year before that, or even a comparison to 2015? And, there are also some who are being fatalistic in saying that no amount of urban planning can prepare for this kind of rain. Would you agree with that argument?
Yes, you are right, because this is almost a replay of 2015. We have seen the rain intensity and frequency of cyclones are increasing, and the inclement weather, the intensity and frequency of inclement weather is also increasing year by year. Because you know that this is due to climate change and global warming. Air temperature is on rise. When air temperature increases, the capacity of air to hold moisture also increases, leading to development of thundercloud and torrential rain in a short span of time. But this is the cyclone. During the cyclone season, usually between October and December, and mostly in the month of December, the cyclones will develop over the southeast Bay of Bengal, over Andaman Sea. They usually head towards Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu coast. So whenever this type of inclement weather, or you can say the cyclone, travel towards east coast of the country, so this type of deluge is always possible. And this particular cyclone has given very extremely heavy rain. You can say in the order of say 400 to 500 millimeter of rain in a span of 36 hours. That was very, very heavy rain. So no amount of preparation can withstand this type of rain. But yes, if rain would have been 100 to 200 millimeter, then all the metro cities should be prepared to handle such type of events, rain events.
All right, 400 to 500 mm in the last 36 hours. You can see, and perhaps that explains why the lakes are overflowing, the stormwater drains are overflowing, and these cars that are parked on the side of buildings just completely getting washed away, because at the end of the day, water requires flow. It requires a path to flow, and it's going to find one if it doesn't have a natural path to flow in. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishna, Mr. Palawat. We really, really hope and pray for the people of Chennai. They are a very resilient people, very helpful people. We saw glimpses of that in 2015 as well. This time too, we're seeing a lot of those stories, particularly on social media. So our thoughts and prayers with the people of Chennai. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. We'll catch you again tomorrow night, same time. Good night.
Hello, Moto.
Presented by
We are coming to you from Virugambakam. This is again one of the low-lying areas, and every time it rains, this entire stretch is inundated. It's no different this time, but the only issue is that this entire stretch continues to remain waterlogged. Vehicles will not be able to commute through this place. On the other side, if you can see, there are trees that are yet to be cleared because of the strong winds and heavy rains. This entire road is inundated. people will not be able to commute. All the shops that are located in this particular stretch, they are shut. Remember, Tamil Nadu government has declared a public holiday tomorrow as well. Schools, colleges, educational institutions, all of them will remain shut tomorrow. As per the Met predictions, the city, Kanchipuram district, Chengalpattu district and Tiruvallur district will witness heavy to very heavy rainfall, and this entire stretch continues to remain inundated and the roads are barricaded so that two-wheelers, cars, autos will not be able to pass through this area. The entire area continues to remain inundated. This among other locations including KK Nagar, Ashok Nagar, T Nagar, West Mamlam, all those are in the low-lying areas, and therefore whenever it rains, it is difficult for residents here. Most of them continue to remain indoors. Some of the cars in fact have been shifted to other localities only to ensure that if the rains continue for the next 24 hours, then their cars will get damaged, which is why you can see a lot of residents here staying indoors because they feel that it is necessary to stay safe. But this entire stretch remains inundated. Remember, the strong winds range between 35 and 85 km per hour, and you can see the umbrellas also not remaining intact. In fact, this has been the scene since 7 a.m. today. Strong winds, which is why many trees have fallen, but the corporation officials will take at least 2 more days to clear the area, to clear the water, to clear the trees that have fallen, only because the rains continue. There was some respite for a brief period, but once again it has started to rain, which is why you can see most of them staying indoors, and all the shops situated in all these low-lying areas continue to remain shut and will be shut if the rains continue to lash the city. Well, because most of the streets, most of the main roads are inundated, they've decided to cut off power to ensure that no untoward incident takes place, because every time an area is waterlogged, there are electric wires everywhere, which is why the power supply has been cut off for most part of the city to ensure that no untoward incident takes place, because every area in Chennai is inundated. The city has come to a standstill, and power supply will only make it difficult for commuters, which is why the officials have already in advance yesterday said that people should have backup power to ensure that they remain safe and they don't step out unnecessarily. Yesterday there were many messages given by the state government saying that the power will not be there tomorrow if the city witnesses heavy to very heavy rains, and they've asked people to ensure that they have charged their batteries and everything in advance so that people don't have to suffer. This was the advisory that was given by the Tamil Nadu government. However, today, as the rains continue to lash the city, residents, most of them continue to remain indoors, and most of the places continue to remain shut today. As you can see, this is one of the low-lying areas in Virugambakam where the drain water is also mixed with the rain water and making it difficult for people to commute.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The attacks have resumed after a few days of pause and release of hostages. The war in Gaza is on again. Israel is targeting the south of Gaza, and striking Hamas tunnels. Some of the videos are unbelievable. Meanwhile, the Red Sea is on the boil. The Houthis are attacking ships, including American warships. We'll tell you how the tension is building up all over again.